Peter Jacobson.
How are you? An amazing event again. So, we have a couple of keys to success for you in a couple of brief minutes here. And two statements. Never take instructions of someone who can't take you to the next level. And your life will always move in the direction of the most dominant pictures in your mind. Write that down. So, you're working a business, and whatever we're doing in life, have you ever wondered why is it that some people always succeed in everything, and some people never succeed, whatever they do? I had that thought. And I slowly learned that we are a product of our environment. So we go out in the world and we're going to do stuff, and we're still going to do stuff that we learned from the people who haven't done anything in life. Sometimes. Anyway, so we're a product of our environment, and it reminds me of a true story. We were home and cooking Thanksgiving dinner. My wife was doing, cooking in the kitchen, and my son was watching her, and she was preparing the Thanksgiving ham, and she was chopping off the both ends of the ham, as he usually does every year. And my son was standing and watching and said, "Mom, why are you cutting off the ends of the ham every year? I've been watching you. I see you do it every year." And my wife went like, "Yeah, I don't know, because your grandma does it, so I do it. Let's ask her." So they called Grandma. Grandma, come in the kitchen. And Grandma come in the kitchen and say, "Grandma, why are you cutting off both ends of the ham? Because I'm doing it every year, and Charles asked me why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because you are doing it every year." And Grandma said, "Well, I'm doing it because old Granny have done it for years and years and years. Let's go in and ask her." So they went in the living room, and everyone was there and was gonna listen. And said, Granny was sitting in the chair and said, "Granny, listen, we are out in the kitchen preparing the ham, and we're cutting off the both ends as we always do every year. And we have watched you do it. Why is it that you have done that in all years?" "Because we do it." And Granny said, "Because my oven wasn't big enough." So you see, don't repeat stuff that doesn't end up be good for you in the future. Anyway, so success is many things, but it's your mindset. How is your mind set up on? What is your mind set up on? Because if you listen to the statement that your life will move in the direction of the most dominant pictures in your mind, we all have a mind, and our mind is set up on things. And they did a study at Harvard University about worry and fear. Because why people don't succeed is because they have so much fear inside of them. They make decisions based out of fear. And this study concluded that 40% of all the fear that people have is stuff that never will happen. 40% that people go worrying about. 30% of the fear that people have is about stuff that already happened. So you can't change that already happened. And 12% is, minor sickness that never will happen. 10% is small problems you need to solve anyway. So 92% of what people worrying about is totally pointless. 92%. So how do we get out of this? Well, we do stuff like this, events, and we have educational seminar, webinars, and trainings, and books, and you gotta put something good inside your mind. And start changing the way you think. Because if you don't change the way you think, things will not change. And I have a great story because we all need inspirational stuff. We need people to walk ahead and to do stuff so we can watch them and say, if he can do that or she can do that, I can do that. And I will tell you a great story. This is from true life, and I do it in honor of a friend of mine. He died many years ago, but his name was CROWD1. And it's so funny, I saw online some people posted something about him. He was one of the first guy in Sweden anyway, who climbed Mount Everest without any oxygen. Most people climb Mount Everest. I mean, only climbing Mount Everest is, totally out of the league. But he did it with no oxygen. And his story is amazing. And he did stuff that inspired thousands. He was a speaker at events that I had many years ago before he left planet Earth, and rest in peace. Anyway, his story is amazing. So what you can do when you feel low and you have doubts and you fear and you don't know what to do, you can think about him. And his name is CROWD1. And he said he was always so happy, positive, outgoing. He said, 2 thumbs up. Always, not 1 thumb, 2 thumbs up. And whatever people said, whatever problem it was, he said, 2 thumbs up. So imagine this guy. He's a normal guy. We knew each other back in my hometown when we grew up. He was like a skater. I was more like a musician, hanging out. But we knew about each other. And I went one way and he went another way. Anyway, he started climbing mountains and he decided to climb Mount Everest. So he went out in the press in Sweden and said, I'm going to climb Mount Everest and going to do it without oxygen. And you have a press release because you need people to be aware of what you're going to do so you can get some sponsoring money from people. Anyway, in the audience at the press release, there was one journalist who said, what is that, climbing Mount Everest? Anyone can do that, and without oxygen, who cares, So he got so upset, he said, okay, I will show you. So he decided he's gonna take his bicycle and bicycle all the way from Stockholm to Himalaya, climb Mount Everest without oxygen, climb down, and bicycle back home. I get tired of thinking of taking my bike to the store. This guy is gonna look at any map. Stockholm to Himalaya. You go through Europe, down to Turkey, through Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever, it's like crazy. You can't do that. But he did. So whenever you feel low and down and have fear, you say, CROWD1, 2 thumbs up, because he did it. I mean, how do you pack? How do you pack when you're going to go a trip like that? From Stockholm to Himalaya, what are you going to pack? What are you going to put in? You can't have too much because it's going to be too heavy. What kind of food, going to run out? If your bicycle breaks down, what's going to happen? It's such an enormous conquest. Anyway, listen to this. He started out in April, I think it was 26th of April, 1995. Left Stockholm. He came down to Himalaya in October 1996. So whenever you feel low and down, you can say, CROWD1, 2 thumbs up. I can do it. He can do it. I can do it. So he comes down there to Himalaya. He had bicycle all the way down for months and months and months. through Iran and Iraq, people were throwing rocks at him, and he met people, gun points at him in Turkey, and a lot of stuff happened. Anyway, he comes down there, and, base camp in Himalaya is 5,600 meters. Base camp. You can't hardly breathe. And most people that try to climb Mount Everest, a lot of them die. Not on the way up, but on the way down. And there's many, many movies made about this. You can watch them. It's just totally amazing. So he's down there, and he's going to climb Mount Everest. He's at base camp, and he told this story himself so good, so I can't tell as good as him. But he said there was an American crew there. It's going to make like a documentary. And, they have all this equipment, and, Americans are great at, doing stuff fancy and looking good and everything. So they have this crew and, camera team and everything, and filming, documentary, everything. And he said he was up there in the snow, and he said, I gotta pull a trick on these guys, because he was doing this, no oxygen, no nothing. They have oxygen masks and everything. And it just came down a little bit of snow in the mountain. He said, I'm gonna pull a trick on those guys. So they were up there, filming, and we're up here on Himalaya. We can hardly breathe. We're soon gonna die. And the camera team following, and so he said, I'm gonna put tricks. So there was snow coming down, and he was doing, traces, like he walk around exactly that spot where they're gonna film. So they come around and we're up here on the Himalayas, like, cut, what is this? Traces in the snow. Can't be any traces in the snow. And Crop was behind the rock and doing like 2 thumbs up, laughing. So this guy was hilarious. So whenever you're feeling down and low, you say, if Göran can do it, I can do it. Anyway.